You ever buy a $5 coffee and before you even get a whiff of the aroma of your favorite roasted coffee bean, that little tablet spins towards you begging for a tip? 15, 20, 25%, staring blankly at you like it's judging you? That is the modern checkout hustle in action. And whether you know it or not, we're all taking part in a new age tip economy. Grabbing takeout between classes, getting a haircut before the weekend, these little digital prompts have made tipping virtually unavoidable. But see, understanding them isn't just about spending or saving money. It's about having a choice in the matter at all. It's about the conscious realization that you are being influenced rather than demonstrating a genuine feeling of appreciation. I've worked service jobs where every dollar counted, and hey, some nights I couldn't fill up my gas tank. I've also been, and still am, that broke college kid wondering, does pressing the no tip button make me a bad person? So yeah, I've been on both sides of the fence. So let me take you for a walk down that fence. And soon, you'll understand how point-of-sale devices influence our tipping behavior and how the lines get blurred between a tip and a service charge, and how you can face those prompts with a conscious confidence instead of any lingering feelings of guilt or shame. I'll break it down like this. First, we'll define what tips and service charges actually are. Then, we'll dive into how technology has reshaped the tip through these new clever designs. And finally, we'll trace where our tip money actually ends up and what it means for the people who are doing the work. So, what is a tip? A tip is a voluntary payment that you choose to give a worker as a show of appreciation for their service. A service charge, on the other hand, is a mandatory fee set by management, and according to the U.S. Department of Labor, it legally belongs to the employer, not necessarily the worker. Now, this distinction matters because some businesses, and I've experienced this firsthand, disguise their service charges as tips, tricking you into thinking you're helping your server and the staff when really that money is going straight into the back pocket of the company. So here's the breakdown. $1 tossed into barista jar, that's a tip. The 20% service fee at that fancy restaurant that's automatically added to your bill, that is not a tip. Let's move on to how touchscreen technology has made its way into our lives and quite literally flipped the script. Touchscreen systems like Square and Toast have redefined the tipping culture. A 2023 Pew Research study found that 72% of Americans will now come face-to-face with digital tip prompts for over-the-counter services. This number jumped from a mere 43% in 2019. These tablet systems during checkout have turned tipping into a required decision. You cannot simply walk away anymore. The screen literally spins towards you, silently waiting, every bite, every gamma pixel judging you as the clerk smiles and hopes for the best. Even worse, the interface is designed to manipulate your decision. The 20-25% options are bright and centered, while the no-tip option is often grayed and buried below. And that's called interface nudging. And guess what? It works. Square's 2025 first quarter report found that average tip percentages rose by nearly 16% between 2019 and 2023. And that is including self-checkout transactions. Think about that for a second. We're actively tipping the screen now. It's not even a real person. In the self-checkout situation, there's no one doing the serving. It's just us. But our brains react in the same way they would to a real person. Prying guilt, empathy, that almighty pressure, all triggered by this slick design. So, if we as consumers are tipping now more than ever, where is all of our money going? In traditional restaurants, tips go to your servers, bartenders, and bussers. But in the coffee shops or delivery services, things get a little weird. Tips are often pooled, then split unevenly, or even rerouted entirely. Earlier this year, the New York Attorney General announced a $16.75 million settlement against DoorDash for using customer tips to subsidize wages instead of giving them directly to their workers. So when those customers thought they were helping their drivers, they were actually covering what the company should have paid them. For service workers, many of whom are students, parents, or working part-time, hustling through these periods of high inflation, that missing 5 or 10% can literally decide whether rent gets paid on time or not. So what can we do about it? Step 1, know the system. If a fee is automatic, it's a service charge, not a tip. Step 2, ask questions. Workers appreciate the transparency. They'd rather you understand where your money's going rather than throw a big chunk of money blindly into their company's back pocket. Step 3, tip with intention. Tip when the service genuinely moves you, not because the screen made you feel small. Ultimately, tipping should be a genuine act of gratitude, not a guilt-triggered reflex. Once you know what's happening behind the scenes, you have the opportunity to take your power back and make a choice. And make a choice with a conscious confidence. So next time that screen flips, spins, or slides in your direction, stop for a second, take a breath, and ask yourself in this moment, does this feel like appreciation or obligation? Okay, so we've learned that tips and service charges are not the same. That POS systems manipulate how and even when we tip, and that understanding who is actually receiving these tips helps us make more informed decisions. Look, the tip economy isn't going anywhere, but awareness leads to empowerment. So whether you tap 25% or you decide not to leave a tip, just make sure your choice means something. Because when you are fond and aware of the system, your actions stop being just a manipulated reflex and start becoming statements of intention. Now, imagine if we applied the same ideology and techniques to more aspects of our lives. What new and great things could you accomplish? Go ahead and sleep on that. Have a good night, and thank you for your time.